So, could you just introduce yourself for me and sort of how you got into farming?
I'm Tom Youngs. I am the 4th generation farm on this farm here, WM Youngs. My great grandfather started it. My grandfather, who lives behind my left shoulder here, he took it on and expanded the business. And then my father and uncle took it on and in '95 and have carried on farming it. And now me and my cousin are here taking it on now.
Perfect. So in these ones, just sort of wrap the question, the answer for me.
So say the question
yeah,
and put
so
the answer.
like, what regenerative agriculture is, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. So, what is regenerative agriculture?
Regenerative agriculture is where we're looking to combine growing food with and looking after nature. And I think, I don't know if you want me to go any full further than that.
Yeah, give us as much as you got.
Yeah, okay. Regenerative agriculture, basically it's when we're trying to grow food for the nation and also look after the countryside, the birds and the bees and everything like that. I feel like in this part of the world we do it very well. I feel like we have a big rotation, so we're not hammering the land. We've got a big rotation. We're obviously introduced things like cover crops, overwinter cover crops, which I think is key. And then we're grazing them with sheep, and it's great for the land. It's fantastic to bring the sheep on here and fatten it up. But I just think it looks better as well. I think something looks better. Ultimately, it's probably better for the environment. I think if you look at a field, a stubble you've left over winter, and you look at it, it looks pretty dreary. It looks pretty, nothing going on. I think if you look at this field, it looks nice. It looks great. And I think if it looks better, I guarantee you it's doing better for the environment.
Perfect. Why were you drawn to it in the first place? Kind of what made you take it on?
Just looking at things differently. I think my father and uncle have farmed one way. I think the way public look at farming now probably think we destroy the environment, and it's so far from that. We want to look after it. I think I'm looking at carbon. I think if I can lower my carbon emissions as a farmer, as in fuel, metal, and I think cover crops like this is a mustard vetch mixture here, which will be deep rooting. Will go down deep, so then my cultivating, when I come and do it, I don't have to be so deep. I've used the plant, I've used Mother Nature to break the compaction up below, so I don't have to rip through it and burn a load of metal and burn a load of fuel. So I really enjoy it. I enjoy seeing what it brings to the farm. We are probably 4 years down the line here, and I've seen a lot of organic matter change. I've seen us use less fuel on how we do things. So I'm very excited about where it's going to go, all this.
You obviously mentioned that sort of your grandfather and then generations before you found a slightly different way. Kind of what are some of the differences that you see between the two of them?
There's a huge difference. I think grandfather, probably when his farming time, he had no fertiliser, and then suddenly fertiliser was invented or was put onto crops, and suddenly they saw a massive spike in tonnes per acre and all that sort of output. I think my uncle and father have farmed, sort of took that on and probably got, I think yields have got to stalemate a little bit, and they're sort of there or thereabouts. But I think now it's for us to combine the environment more to growing food for the nation. I think we're going to get more into carbon catching, more into carbon neutral, all these things, neutrality, and building organic matter back again. I think that's the key thing, is producing a crop at an affordable rate and for an environmental friendly scheme. I think is incredibly important, and I think we've only just scratched the surface of the science of this, and so I'm very excited where farming's going to go here now.
Perfect. So in terms of the effect it has, what is the significance of sheep eating cover crops?
The advantage of sheep eating cover crops, right? So you can see now it's quite tall here. This will be grazed down to about this much. So this will be all grazed off and ready to then we're going to put potatoes in this, so we'll come potatoes behind here. Also, it's the organic matter they can put across the land. So they call it the golden hoof back in the day, back in the sort of 70s, the golden hoof, and a lot of farmers would have a mixed farm. We're not a mixed farm. These sheep are from a local shepherd, and also he also has sheep come from up north down, because obviously the climate up north, Yorkshire or whatever, is very harsh, whereas it's a little bit friendlier down here. It's better, the soils are a little bit kinder, not so heavy. So the sheep, we've had about 1,400 sheep on this farm, looking at covering over about 200 hectares of cover crops, and those cover crops this year will come spring barley, obviously making malting barley for beer. There will also come sugar beet and potatoes. So we've had the sheep grazing them all. I think it's great for the sheep, they can fatten these lambs up on it. So they're not having to rely on food or nuts or pellets or anything like that. It's actually, we're getting advantage of them grazing it, they're getting advantage of being able to fat a lamb up ready for market through off the back of cover crops.
Amazing. You sort of kind of answered how it keeps them healthy and the benefits. Just kind of, we'll maybe go through a couple of the questions again, just sort of get a varied answer. What are some of the benefits of this way of farming?
The benefits of this way of farming are for me, having looked over the last 4 years, like we were a very heavy plough-based farm. I think we've now moved to more of a min-tilling farm, and I can see the difference of what these cover crops do. They're deep rooting, some of them. I think they break the soil up underneath. The micro diversity you get underneath is huge now. A lot of worms in here now, and the biggest thing for me is saving us fuel and metal. So when I come to this field in 6 weeks' time, I will not have to burn as much fuel or metal because the cover crop has done the deep rooting and breaking compaction up and made the soil more easier to work with.
Perfect. Yeah, sweet. Okay, and then finally, sort of looking forwards into the future, obviously, I don't know, how long you've been farming, do you say? How long have you been working on the farm?
I've been here 3 years now.
3 years. So obviously, you're quite
new to it.
New to it at the start of your journey. In the future, do you kind of see this as something you're going to carry on and kind of the way you want to farm in the future?
Yeah. So I've been back 3 years now, and I really feel like this is the way it's going to go. I think the good advantage of me being back, I'm not stuck in old ways in some regards. I can see a fresh approach to the farm. And when I say stuck in old ways, I think sometimes you can be your father's done it one way and you'll just follow on that trend, whereas I'm looking outside the box here. I think we've got to work out what is carbon catching. Like, is a wheat crop or a barley crop actually carbon neutral? And we don't actually know that. We need to work these things out. The benefits of these, how much carbon are these taking out the atmosphere, but also how much money they're actually saving us in metal, and are we getting a better crop? How much are they producing organic matter back into the land, which is huge, along with the sheep as well. So I'm extremely excited for the future of farming, as long as we can keep being able to produce food and do it in an environmental friendly way as best we can without anyone going hungry or anything like that. I'm very excited about the future of farming on this side of the business of trying to improve land, tying it with sheep, tying it with carbon catching, and understanding how that all operates into food production.
Perfect, right. So, just give me a quick introduction and how you got into farming.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tom Youngs. I'm the 4th generation farmer on this farm, WM Youngs, Sankin, it's outside Elsham. My great-grandfather started the business. He was a cattle trader and brought some land, and then my grandfather, who's still with us now, he lives in the house just over my left-hand shoulder, 96 years old. He took it on, and then my father and uncle took it on from him about 94, 95, they took the farm on, and now me and my cousin are here to take the farm forward.
Amazing, Hollywood answer. So, could you just tell me what is regenerative?
Regenerative farming. Yeah, regenerative farming. Now that's a combination of growing food, I think, and then looking after the environment. I think farming has always done that, but I think it's come under more of a microscope now, and it's tying things in like cover crops to grow. To look after nature through the winter, to encourage the birds and the bees more, to produce food for them through the winter in some regards. So it's exciting. I think it's a bit of a buzzword, but I think it's an exciting word. And I think as time goes on, we'll get more detail of it and more understanding of what's right in that and what's wrong in it.
Perfect. Why are you working on it?
The reason I'm working on it is I just see a big future in it. I think we are talking about the environment, we're talking about global warming, for example, and I think we can find out more if we grow a cover crop, what sort of carbon does that hold over the winter. I think we can work out how much barley takes carbon out. Is it carbon neutral? Is it carbon negative? Is it carbon plus? You know, we need to work all these things out, and I'm very excited how we can do that. I think one thing I've learned over the last few years, I've got a couple of fields I overwintered stubbled, and I think they look tired. They just don't look great. I think this looks great. I think if something looks good on the whole in life, usually they are pretty good. So I think a cover crop in over winter is a key for this, and it's something we've really gone after the last sort of 3 or 4 years and really enjoyed doing it.
Amazing. In terms of the effect, It has. What is the significance of sheep eating cover crops?
Well, actually, the effect of just a cover crop is big. You know, I think this cover crop here, is a mustard sort of veg, so it's deep rooting, so it's going to break a lot of compaction underneath of ground. So when I come and actually rip this up, I won't have to go so deep. I can go. I don't have to pull so hard on my tractor. So I'll save on metal and I'll save on fuel. Then you top the sheep in. I think sheep grazing it right down is a big advantage, because then I probably won't have to do anything with it. I can just rip through it with a cultivator and done. But also the golden hoof, they call it, so you get the manure from the sheep. It's great. We also then are producing protein from the sheep by eating off the cover crop. So there's also protein being produced as well, which obviously we will then go on and eat. So there's a whole combination of things here. This farm, we've got about 200 hectares of cover crops in, and we've had 1,500 sheep on the farm grazing through the winter.
Amazing. Just a bit of background. Where have the sheep come from? How did you come to have them on the farm?
So we're not sheep farmers ourselves. Actually, when I was growing up, we had about 600 ewes on the farm when I was a young lad, about sort of 7 or 8, and we came out of that job, and we're just solely arable. But I've got a good guy called Carl Daniels who you've got plenty of sheep, and he's been grazing them off. They also come from up north as well, so he gets to look after them. Obviously up north the climate is a little bit harsher through the winter than it is here, so they send them down here, and then we get to put them on the cover crops. They get fed, the lambs get fatter, and we get the sort of golden hoof, as I already alluded to, the manure on the ground, and we get the cover crops eaten right down. So it all works very, very well.
What are the benefits of it?
Benefits are soil health, increase organic matter, increasing soil diversity, biological. I can't say it. I'll do that again. I can't fucking think the microbiology. Yeah, microbiology. That's what I want to say. Yeah.
Perfect.
What was the question again?
So, what are the benefits of it?
Huge benefits for us. The benefits of a cover crop are, and the sheep being here, are big. So you've got the cover crop, deep rooting, microbiodiversity. Oh God, I've done it again. I'll just leave it out.
Biodiversity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Biodiversity. Is that really right? Underneath the ground? I won't say it. That's probably better. Okay. The advantage of cover crops and sheep's on it. I've seen huge things with organic matter increasing on the land. The breakdown of soil's better. It's easier to work with. And then obviously you tie the sheep in. We're putting manure over the field as well. But as I say, like the mess I've been saving over the last 3 years, it's been massive, and the soil is in a better health. I think I looked at we've got a field overwintered stubble, and it just looks miserable. It looks so bleak out there. Whereas these look a lot more better for bird coverage, better for birds to be in, better for insects to be in, everything like that. I think so. It's great. It's been a really big thing for us to work on, and I've really enjoyed doing it.
What are some of the challenges?
There's plenty of challenges, but the main challenge of a cover crop is getting it eaten off quick enough so that you can then get behind and work with it, because you don't want to be, when the weather's right, you want to be going as a farmer, so you don't want to be waiting for sheep to get off it. So that's quite a big thing. But really, there isn't much to it really. You put it in August, you hopefully get it in there with a bit of moisture and stuff like that, so they get away, they get a good growth on them, and then they're ready to eat by December, end of November, December, and away you go. Slugs might be a little bit issue with slug build up, because you're getting a lot of organic matter in the top, so that might be a slight issue as we go forward with it.
Perfect. Let's get one more time. It's a little bit windy on that one.
Was it? Okay.
But yeah, exact same if you can.
Yeah, what was it again? What was the question?
What are the challenges?
The challenges, for me, there's not many challenges to this. Like, you put it in end of August, hopefully get some moisture to get a good chit of the seed, and up it comes. I think the biggest challenge we have with it is probably slugs, the build up of slugs maybe, because you're going to get a lot of trash with it, especially if you don't get the sheep to graze it right down. You're going to get a lot of trash, so we've got to worry about that. Obviously, if sheep are slow off it, we could be held up putting the next crop in behind, but it seems to work pretty well, and we don't seem to suffer with that. As long as you've got plenty of sheep on the farm, they soon eat through it. But slugs is probably the only issue I'm a little bit worried about, but we haven't suffered so far.
Perfect. And last one, how important is like the soil health and what it's doing for the soil?
The soil health is everything, isn't it? Like, I think good soil health will produce good crops, and better for the environment. I feel like we may have overdone worked soil in this farm maybe a little bit. We were very heavy plough based, sort of not going away from the plough, but looking at maybe not ploughing yearly, ploughing in a rotation of 5-6 years, if you know what I mean. So that's what I'm looking at here. But I think it just will improve soil health, and it will just be far better.
Amazing.